This show is clean, pretty much.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 695. Hello, it's Mike Matthews, broadcasting from the last place on earth, located somewhere in Podcaster Valley, California. Today, Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley, plus it's a new Into an interview with the bassist DREW ROULETTE of the Los Gatos band DREDGE. Los Gatos is a little town near here. Mike's Daily Podcast, where I live in Podcastro Valley, California. And there's some bizarre furniture, I fear. Mike's Daily Podcast, called room bots. I'll tell you about in a little bit. Now, yesterday there was some computer problems that went away, thankfully, and the brewmaster made a Luddite root beer, and that's something that when you drink, you lose the ability to fear electronics and technology in this world in which we live. Mike's Daily Podcast, because that's what we're using now is technology to bring you this show, so you gotta kind of love it. Mike's, is that alright? Daily what? Podcast. Tom Petty? Yeah! Okay. Don't come around here no more. Hey! And whatever you're looking for. Hey? Don't come around here no more? I had an OkCupid sighting. OkCupid celeb sighting. That happened to me on Saturday. It was bizarre. What is an OkCupid celeb sighting? Well, what happens is, if you are an OkCupider and you look through all the matches and whatnot, the people that might be compatible with you, and you see someone and they leave an indelible mark upon your brain, and then you see that person in public, well, that's what happened. I didn't say, hey, aren't you on OkCupid? I didn't say anything. I was going to, and then I'm like, nah. And what then I realized was I was at a coffee house that the guy that runs the coffee house, I like the guy, and then I'm realizing that the guy and this woman from OkCupid, this OkCupid celeb, are a thing. Or she seems to think they're a thing because she seemed to be fawning all over him. And this guy was kind of ignoring her. I don't know. It was a bizarre situation I walked into. Surreal, in fact. Because I knew one of the people from the computer and the other person from real life. The guy makes great coffee in his coffee house. I'm glad he's in business in Podcastro Valley, California. Basil, let me ask you a question. You're laying there like you're about to get up because you don't like me when I podcast. So why don't you get up and leave? I'm too tired, he's saying. Look who just walked in. Hello, Michael Matthews. This is Madame Rootabega. And I think that maybe you should have said something to the woman. And perhaps you should fight for this woman and defeat this horrible coffee house owner. Are you okay? Yes, Michael Matthews. I just want to see a fight. I want to see blood. Then you should see Game of Thrones. I love that show. I don't watch that show. I'm staying away from all shows that have "of" in them. House of Cards, Game of Thrones. I don't care. Michael Matthews, that's not the show. Look who else just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking ding.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we knows that you do a podcast, but you got like no listeners compared to that Chris Hadwick, who's got that nudist podcast day.
Yeah, it's a nudist podcast. Do you know that? Not a nudist. It's the Nerdist. Yeah, very popular guy, and he's got his show now on Comedy Central at midnight, which is very funny. I watch all the time. And I have to say that when I watch that show, he goes absolutely ape whenever anybody does a fucking movie that everybody's going to go run out and see. All the comic book movies, all the superhero movies, all the big sci-fi whatever wingdings. whatever movie that has tons of hype behind it, he just attaches to it like a magnet. Just,
It's going to be great. I can't wait to watch it. I'm Chris Hardwick. Oh.
I hate hype. I'm allergenic.
Mike, everybody loves Game of Thrones. You should too.
Yeah, be like everybody else. Do you know that? No, guys, I'm a Johnny. I show up late. Johnny come lately. Dang, I never see, because like I just finally saw Star Trek 2 because it's on Netflix. And I'm fine with that. I don't want to run out and spend $15 at the movie theater and see something that I will always be disappointed because I'm a cynical fellow, and that's why no one listens to my podcast. I need to jump on bandwagons. No, Mark and Matthew, you should just be yourself. No. That's why the OK Cupid girl likes the coffee house guy. Michael Matthew, I don't understand. Yeah, that makes no sense. So there is this thing called a Roombot. Researchers from the Biorobotics Laboratory at the École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne, or the EFPL in Switzerland, have created a group of modular shaped changing... They're shape-changing robots. Yeah, Transformers. I'm Chris Hardwick. Transformers is a great movie. Called Roombots that are they're 3D reconfigurable, and that means, well, yes, they can change shapes, and in this case would become furniture. The whole idea, the researchers admit, sounds a little crazy. And it was to create furniture that would literally change shape over time to fit the person's needs who was using it. For example, a table could suddenly become a chair. Modular Roombots are very simple robotic modules that can attach and detach themselves. In addition to changing shapes, the researchers envisioned that a group of Roombots which had autonomously connected to each other could also move with actual joints around the room to different locations depending on the user's needs. And when you don't want that occasional table anymore, the Roombots could just change shape and create a static structure like a wall. This according to Forbes.com. A lot of the prototype technology in robotics has direct and more immediate applications to people with assistive needs or the elderly who are living longer than before. The Roombot could be used as assistive furniture for the elderly or for people with a motor handicap to create furniture that fits their needs and moves to them when they need it. Oh, what's this? The Roombots will help people recover from a fall, monitor their health, help them move between different positions and manipulate objects. Amazing. Ray Kurzweil, the leading expert on artificial intelligence and Google's director of engineering, has predicted that robots will outsmart humans in a little over 10 years. These Roombots, in the meanwhile, might just make our lives more comfortable. And there was some pondering that was done by the UN recently. The United Nations discussed legislation to prevent robots from running amok. This was just about a little over a week ago. This was a move that could complicate the creation of any more Terminator movies. United Nations diplomats discussed international laws to govern or simply ban the use of killer robots. This was the first time that a UN meeting was devoted entirely to the topic. This according to technewsworld.com. What do you think about robots? Do you like them? Are you suspicious of them? Did you watch the Terminator way too many times? Or did you not watch it because you didn't want to because you avoid hype? You're hype, allergenic. Email me, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section emails from email. Also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. There's also the website, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com, where you can find links to where to listen to this show. In iTunes, you can rate and comment on the show there, and if you do that, more people find out about us. There's also where to find us on Facebook. Like the Facebook page, and when I post a new show, share it with your friends so more people find out about us. There's also links to where to find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Mixcloud. We're on Yelp, Tumblr, Twitter, And there's the Amazon deal of the day. Click on that and buy something, and that helps out the show. And you get a great discount on whatever it is that Amazon has up there on the Amazon deal of the day. You can also read the blog and see the daily podcast picture, and listen to Mike's Daily Podcast Radio, which features old shows and great music all mixed together, all there at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com.
Into an interview.
DREW Roulette of the band called DREDGE. Hello.
What's up?
DREDGE is an awesome band that I discovered only recently, but you guys have been around a long time.
Wow, we've actually been playing together for over 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're 14, so how does that work?
Yeah.
You're so young.
We're quadruplets. We've been playing in the womb.
That must have been fun for your mom. Oh, there they go.
Night.
There they go jamming again. Jamming in my uterus.
Nice.
That's so wrong. Yeah, so how did the band get together? How did DREDGE get together, Mr. DREW Roulette?
So, we kind of met each other in different places. Like, I met Mark, the guitar player, on my baseball team, my pony baseball team, and we weren't that good at baseball, so we'd always be sitting in the outfield, and we would just talk about music. We had a lot of similar interests in music, like Pantera and Primus and things like that. So we kind of got along, that way. And then I met Gavin, the singer, when I was a freshman in high school. He was in my art class. And, it just kind of started, like, things like that. And then Dino, the drummer, was in my sophomore year. He was in my Spanish class. And then we all kind of just started hanging out and talking about music. And, like, Dino had been playing music growing up his whole life. So he was really, he was already super talented in that aspect. And then Gavin was a guitar player and Mark a guitar player. I hadn't really played much of the bass yet. So it kind of just made sense that I would start playing the bass and join them, and we'd start jamming, like in early high school.
How was Los Gatos High School?
It was good. I mean, it's a wealthy part of the community, so, it's a bunch of privileged kids, really. I mean, it's not too many tough times in Los Gatos, I guess, but our outlet was music, and that was always, a good thing for us to kind of get together and do after school or on the weekends. And, growing up wasn't too hard. It was, we feel very fortunate in that aspect, so. But I think the Bay Area was the important part about us growing up, because I think, we're surrounded by a lot of amazing places here in California, whether it's like Santa Cruz or the beach or San Francisco. So it's very like there's a lot of places to pull influence from around here. Whether it's the Redwoods or Yosemite or something. So I think being able to be in this area was super influential for all of us.
And Los Gatos is like right up against the hill there. It's right before you go over the mountains to get to Santa Cruz if you're leaving San Jose.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of beauty around you there in Los Gatos.
Yeah, we would go, we'd go into the mountains, camp, do some drugs, and listen to music and play music, so.
Wow. So what fun. You'll have to do a movie about it someday. Because you're quite the filmmaker guy, aren't you?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I've documented a lot of our tours over the years and all our studio footage, stuff like that.
Including that video of the whole band sleeping on the plane.
Yeah, right.
What was the story behind that one?
So, we just did this European tour for like 2.5 weeks, and the first week we were flying every morning to a different country pretty much to play, and we were just super exhausted, because we'd be done with the show around midnight or 1, and then we'd still like to go out and experience the town, so we'd end up just staying out until 6 when we'd then have to go to the airport, and this was like for a week straight. So it just took a toll on us after a while. Pretty much the only sleep you could get was either on the plane or between sound check and showtime.
Wow.
But yeah, we had talked before about it hard being able to sleep on the plane, and that's how I kind of am. So I was just stuck in the middle of these guys sleeping around me, just jealous that I couldn't catch some C's.
And so you filmed everybody sleeping. What is the YouTube channel for you guys?
Oh, Oh man, what is that? I forget the name of it. Shoot, I forget. I forget the name of it.
Well, they can go to dredge.com,
Yeah.
right? It's through that. And then there's also your Twitter through that, too.
Yeah, through Twitter or Facebook, or you could search Dredge on Google or YouTube, and all that stuff will come up.
Well, the first song I heard from you guys was The Thought of Losing You, and I was like, this is a cool song.
Nice.
And then I found out you guys were, like, local, because I'm in Castro Valley, or what I like to call Pod Castro Valley, and
Nice podcast, Valley.
I'm like, we're practically neighbors.
Yeah.
With a little 40-minute drive between us, but hey, close enough. And I thought I'd give you a call and tell me how the song The Thought of Losing You came about.
So that was from our latest record, which was actually a collaboration with Dan the Automator.
Dan the Automator.
He's done, he's done things like Lovage or Deltron 3030, or he did the first Gorillaz record.
Whoa.
So we've been friends with him for a while, and we always were kind of searching for a window where we could work with him. And then, the opportunity came up on the last record, and we just decided to jump on it. So it was a collaboration effort in the sense that he helped us, through some of the writing process, and then he actually, composed some of the songs on that record. So all in all, it's probably not like 100% Dredge, that record, and it was kind of a departure from our older records in a sense that we were, I would say, maybe more rock, more live bandy in the last record. So this one was more like electronic kind of feel.
Ah.
But that song, Gavin, I asked him about it. He wrote the lyrics and everything. I think it's about coincidentally, I think it's about his sister who was in the army, and she would have to ship off every now and then, and I think he wrote that song with her in mind.
Wow.
Yeah, which just kind of makes sense on Veterans Day, Memorial Day, actually.
Yeah, because we're talking on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
So, wow. Well, let's play it. I love this song, and now I have a whole new way of looking at it. How cool.
Nice. Cool.
And Dredge is, I'm Drew. Wow, your name and Dredge. Well, we'll talk about how you guys got the name Dredge.
Cool.
Because I know it's actually your name with a DGE, a DG.
Yeah.
Because there's no E at the end. It's just Dredge with no E.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that. This is a great song. You're playing bass on it, along with Gavin Hayes is singing. He's got an amazing voice. He almost reminds me sometimes of the lead singer from A-ha.
Oh, wow, that's cool. And that's great.
I mean, that guy has an amazing voice, too. I mean, like, has he ever tried to sing A-ha?
No, I don't think so. But, he does get some 80s references a lot with his voice. So that's actually, we like that reference. I think it's cool rather than sounding like something else.
Awesome. And instead of being from Sweden, you're from Los Gatos.
From Los Gatos, the Bay Area.
And also, you got Mark Ingalls on guitar and Dino Campanella on drums and keyboards.
Yeah.
And here's The Thought of Losing You. It's Dredge on Mike's Daily Podcast. Get off your hi-hat. I mean, that's a hi-hat, isn't it? As we go outside the last place on earth where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California, the thought of losing you. It's not an option. That is the fantastic DREDGE. And we will have the finale of my Into An interview with the bass player for DREDGE, DREW ROULETTE, tomorrow.
And here's today's podcast picture.
The picture is of the band DREDGE, without the E at the end. And you can see what they look like, and they're rocking out there. I can't wait to see them live sometime. We talk a little bit more about their live concerts on tomorrow's show, so don't miss that. And you can see a picture of them at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Michael Matthews, they are so cute. Ooh. Yes. But I am not. That's why women on OkCupid are not attracted to me, but are rather attracted to coffee house men. Michael Matthews, you need to get over it. You need to believe in yourself.
Yeah, Mike, listen to Madame Rootabega Day. She's full of good advice.
Yeah, I guess she is. What do you think, Bison Bentley? I think you need to watch Game of Thrones. Do you know that? No. Tomorrow, the finale of my Into An interview with the group DREDGE and DREW ROULETTE. Plus, we'll hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Take on me.
Take on me! Ooh! Ooh!